Hey guys, welcome back to the channel and welcome to my messy workbench. Maybe I should call this channel Messy Workbench, fellas. What do you think? Or Messy Garage? That's how it is when you're always busy, fellas. But anyway, guys, these are the LS heads that I had in the last segment. And I got some pretty good news about these fellas. The customer gave me permission to tell you guys about them and what I'm going to do to them and why I'm doing it. And he's one of these guys, he'll push the envelope for power. And he gives me the okay to do whatever I want to do. And he's always been really good that way. He actually wound up being a very good friend of ours. And one of our best friends, as a matter of fact. But it's still business related when it comes to this stuff, because he takes his racing pretty serious, and he takes horsepower very serious. But anyway, fellas, I wanted to show you this because I told you guys in the other segment that I was going to be doing some things to these heads because he's putting a lot of nitrous to it. And one of the things that I do, fellas, and I'm usually against a lot of people when I say these things, but fellas, this is how I do stuff. This isn't what I'm telling anybody else to do. This is just what I do. I take a lot of the guide out, as much as I can get out. And some guy would look at this and they'll say, well, that's dangerous because that's actually a bad thing to do. And I can't argue with them because these are shallow in here and this could crack. It could break. But we're worried about going fast right now. And we want it dependable. But there are chances you take. And I don't know if he will or not, but we could actually have these welded in a couple spots and then tapered back in. I want to talk to him about that because I don't want to see him just put these on, have the car run really fast, and then blow up on him. I mean, you never know, and that can happen anyway. But anyway, fellas, what I wanted to show you is that this is what the guy removed. And this is what I always try to show you guys, how I try to come off the back of the seat here and best I can aim it to the roof. I hope you can see, fellas. That's what I try to do. I go for the most direct approach from off the back right here to the roof. And I try to give it, always try to give it a sweep. You'll hear me say that a lot. That's basically my own thing. I believe in that. But what I wanted to show you, fellas, they talk about flow numbers, and my theory, I don't really explain a lot of stuff in the detail, but my theories are always like this here. I don't worry about flow numbers as much as I do as restriction. And that's with intakes. That's with anywhere the air has to turn, or in this case, the restriction of the guide. And one of the things I want to point out, fellas, is you might look at that and say that's pretty dangerous to do that. Sorry guys, I'm getting off of the camera here. And you'd say, wow, you don't have a lot of guide left. But here you go, guys. I want to show you the difference. This is without the guide, without guide in it. This is with the guide in, okay? And it's basically your stock valve. You can see where it's shiny, where the guide covers it right here. And then this is where I removed it. So you're still only losing that much of a guide, but you're picking up a lot of air resistant area. That's how I look at it, fellas. I mean, this is how I do it. But I don't know if this will show up on camera so much, but this is what I'm going to do, guys. I want you to hear the difference in the way the air comes off on a standard guide. And you'll hear how high pitched the air gets, fellas. I tried to make another video and you couldn't hear me talk, so I'm just going to put the air to it and let you guys hear the restriction off the seat into the guide. And then I want to compare it to the one that I opened up. Alright guys, here we go. I'm going to move it around, guys, so you can hear where the air can actually travel and move. But unfortunately, fellas, it makes the air have tendency to move towards the floor. And this is what I was trying to say about removing the guide. I don't know a lot of detail, and I lose track sometimes when I try to explain stuff. But this is my theory on this, fellas. The air is going to tendency to move towards the floor instead of up to the roof. That's on the guide. That's to the side. Very little air getting by it. Right to the other side of the guide. Okay, fellas, I hope this gives you an idea, fellas, what I'm talking about. And like I said, this is just how I do it. I'm not telling anybody else to do it this way, but I want to show you guys the difference. Try to go off the seat more, fellas. I hope this gives you guys an idea. I'm going to do it one more time. That's the high-pitched sound, fellas, is the air just trying to get around that guide with nowhere to go. That's why you hear that high whistling sound. And the deeper the air sounds, I hope it shows up on the phone here, my video, because the deeper it gets, the less restrictive it is. So that's why I'm doing this, fellas, just to give you guys an idea. It's not all about flow numbers. It's about restriction and things stopping the air from moving. And that's why I wanted to do this video. I told you guys I would let you know one of the things I do. And this is one of the things I do, fellas. People might disagree with it, but this is just what I do, guys. And I had a few people ask me personal things about some of the stuff we do, and this is one of them. And people can say it don't work all they want to, fellas. It's not that the heads I did for the Green Gangster, the car we talk about with the 302 in it, that's the one that's been 9s with the E7 heads I did. And the only reason I'm bringing that up on this segment is because the flow numbers are not real high on it. But if people want to go by flow numbers, my numbers out succeeded even Thumper, one of the best companies around that do the E7s. My numbers were higher, and actually I just seen them test another pair of heads. They did the GT40P and the GT40 heads, and my heads outflowed that on the exhaust. That they flowed 160 with a 1.5 valve in them, and that's with a pipe. And I actually have that printed out. I can do another segment on that and show you guys that. But I'm just giving you an idea how flow numbers don't always mean everything. It's about how the air also can move freely. And that's what I'm basically trying to get at, guys. I don't do a good job explaining things sometimes, but anyway, fellas, this is one of the things I talk about as far as airspeed and things like that. I try to get that exhaust out as quick as I can. That's one of the things I believe in. And the more you get the air out of the exhaust, the quicker the intake side will actually be more efficient. It will actually pick up too. People don't talk about that too often, but that's one of the things that happens. That's why a 460 engine compared to a Chevrolet engine don't do well. It's because the exhaust it empties too low. And you've seen the other segment I was doing about the 460s. I'm going to be doing more about that, but I'm getting on the three things here, fellas. Sorry about that, but it just led me into that is why a 460 is so terrible, because the exhaust empties so low and they're so bad in on that side, and it makes the intake side where the percentages are way down. I forget what the numbers are, but it's really terrible compared to most heads. And that's why I say some people have problems making them run. But I'm kind of doing two segments here at one time, fellas. Sorry about that, but it kind of ties together here. But anyway, fellas, I wanted to show you this. This is just my own spin on things. It's not anything I want to debate, because I know everybody else's theories. But like I said, guys, here's the valve, and that's where it was, and that's where it is without the guide. So it's not like you're taking a big loss as far as a guide holding the valve. It's mainly because these aren't real strong up in here, and we know that, fellas. So I want to make people aware that we do know. I'm not just hogging something out and trying to take a big chance. Am I taking a chance? Yes, I am, somewhat. But this guy here, I can say, if he thinks that's a little bit too shallow when we get finished with him, he'll say, yeah, okay, I'm going to have him welded up. We'll weld them in some spots, and then I'll taper it back in. Because one thing we don't want to do is just go out there, crack in a decent number, and then have the engine blow up. I mean, we're not out to do that. Like I said, we will push the point on a race engine. And actually, this is a stock engine. It's not really a race engine. It's actually something he has basically gotten for free. So, but I mean, we still don't want to annihilate it just because of that reason. You know, it still costs money to replace it. But anyway, guys, I just wanted to run this by you, and I do want to give a special thanks out to you guys following this channel. I appreciate it, and I always want to take the time to tell you guys that I have some really decent guys on this channel. But anyway, fellas, have a good night. And if there's any questions about any of this stuff, just shoot me a comment, and I try to get back to you guys when you leave me a comment or anything. It takes me a while sometimes, but I'm very interested in what you guys have to say. All right, fellas, have a good night, and take care, and God bless you.